People, 2019 Q&A day, the first Q&A of 2019. So let's get started. It's Friday, obviously. Thank you very much for your questions. You've got at me on Snapchat, you've DM'd me on Twitter, you've got at me on Instagram, you've got at me on Facebook. You guys know already. I do my best to make sure I don't miss no one else out, and obviously you comment my YouTube vids as well. So thank you very much for your questions, no matter how it arrived into my possession. Essentially, without you lot I can't do this. Thank you very much, and please get in with more questions. As you know, we've now working with a Wednesday deadline, Wednesday 9 p.m, so obviously the following Wednesday. But let's crack on, man. Let's not waste any more time. Tayyib Hussein, bro, this guy is always in my comments throughout the whole year or since I've started this YouTube thing. Thank you, my guy, man. Your consistent support is very much noted. You've asked who would be my first choice defender to buy this window. We've probably got to do a bit of penny pinching this month, so I'd leave it all to Mislintat or Unai Emery if they could find someone with a lesser profile. Maybe Dejane, I can't say his name, of Getafe, just on the basis of trying to save money. If money weren't a thing or we could get around certain things, then I would go for Diallo of Dortmund. Do I believe he's the finished product? No. Do I think he lets himself down sometimes? Yes. But I see someone who, together with Rob Holding, would be a good centre-half partnership for years. He's a very good centre-half on the left-hand side of the pairing, so immediately you can see Socrates, he'd improve with that. I think he's a good defender. He can improve in the air, and his positioning can improve. If you saw basically him and Akanji's mistake against Dusseldorf, they can improve, but that would be it. Maybe it's worth, I know we can't get Renagli at all from Juventus, but he seems to not really be playing. If it's worth just asking them and see what they're saying, you don't ask, you don't get, essentially. So, especially with Aaron Ramsey allegedly going there, we should be asking for that or something. Again, it doesn't normally work like that, and this is nothing more than dreaming, and Renagli probably will never happen. It's not realistic, but yeah, my guy. Marble Halls asked, does Stan Kroenke spend? We spent 200 million over the last 18 months. Is it a fair criticism? I would say yes, my guy, because that is true. I mean, what I think the question or what you're trying to get from me is that is he the only person to blame? And clearly not. I mean, you had Wenger, you had Mislintat, not Mislintat, you had Ivan Gazidis, and you had Kroenke, and you obviously had the Stooges on the back room. Now, many Arsenal fans had agendas. Let's keep it real. Many Arsenal fans talking in mad. What's the word? There's no balance. Talking extremes, basically. To some Arsenal fans, everything was on Wenger. Don't get me wrong, a lot of valid criticism for Wenger. Like I said, all three were there. Neither success or defeat is down to one man. There's always this thing. Pardon me. Some people, Wenger's the best thing since sliced bread. He was just simply a man who was stuck in his ways and doing the wrong things, but acted out of love in the club, and that's why people liked him. To some, Wenger could do no right. Then obviously to some people allowed Wenger, and it was all on Glazidis. Some people said Glazidis is trying to make the things happen when it's all three of them. Wenger I love Wenger, as you know if you watch my channel. Wenger's my guy. I would love to sit down and speak with him for hours about football, but what's really had an issue with him is probably the one thing that hurt him is giving his life to this club. To the last 10 years, or probably more important, the last 3 years, or the last real period of his decline, he had an issue, or he's continuously had an issue with acting in the best interest of the club and then in the management. I mean, acting in the best interest of the club and then himself. Because you saw Koscielny getting a new deal till 2020. Coquelin obviously got one. Giroud got one before being sold. Not bringing in certain names, giving contracts and staying with certain players. Probably not moving on when certain managers became available. Certain things, there's no way around it. He is human. So he did act out of selfishness at times under the guise of loving the club. But he did love it. You had Glazidis, who might have been trying to do several things right, and he did all right with the backroom additions towards the end, but there were several things wrong with him. His word is not worth the paper it's written on. But then you have Stan Kroenke. It comes from the top. The mentality comes from the top. Essentially, Glazidis and Wenger, for whatever you think positively or negatively about them, my friend, they're sheep essentially. If you want to change the mentality of someone, you have to strike the sheep. You have to strike the shepherd. Better yet, people. You don't strike the sheep. Wenger and Glazidis are sheep. There will be another sheep in their place when they leave, as you're seeing. The mentality comes from Kroenke. Kroenke has not invested a penny of his own money into this club, and in fact is the only one in the Premier League that hasn't done so. From a business proposition, the only thing the man cares about is fantastic. He hasn't put his own penny in, he's financed it, and he's got around it with clever little ways. He's seeing the share price grow year on year. He's seeing several of these sort of things. So from a business proposition or point of view, it is great for him. But from a Arsenal fan point of view or whatever, it doesn't matter if you're wishing Unai Emery can work a miracle with these sides, but it doesn't matter if he can work a miracle. It doesn't matter if Michelin Tat is able to find 11 players from Siberia or wherever in the world that have world class potential, because the mentality has to be winning at the top. Liverpool have had some dodgy owners, but now in the last couple of years they've got someone that is on crud that they want to challenge, and you're seeing that. You're seeing the manager being backed. You're seeing it not necessarily all the time with big money transfers, which they have been doing well. But the recruitment, you see Salah, they've taken chance. There's been a clear recruitment drive. They've taken chances on players. Shaqiri, they've spent money on great positions when quality is there. People had something to say about Van Dijk and Alisson, and it's been shut up now. They're the sort of things. Obviously, you're seeing the rest of the top six do that. United are United in it. They haven't been where they want, but they're actively trying to get there. City is backed by essentially a Gulf state, so they're doing their thing and creating a dynasty. Spurs, probably, I don't want to give Levy any credit because I do think there's going to be some similarities, and there is some similarities, but you get the point. The mentality, and how can you really be optimistic about your club if the mentality isn't there to win trophies consistently and things like that, regardless of what these fancy little written statements might say every quarter when he comes out with them. So although we have spent 200 million, it's very valid that we haven't spent enough to bring us competitively, and Arsenal are playing a dangerous game, because if we claim we're self-financing, like you've seen with Aaron Ramsey and rejecting 60 million or so for Alexis and letting him walk for free, we're not making sensible decisions. If you would get maximum profit for these players essentially. And for I use Lucas Torreira because it highlights everything. Lucas Torreira is a bad boy footballer, someone with world-class potential, someone I think's destined for the two big Spanish clubs in Spain, Madrid and Barca. And we're paying a good little deal. It's just over 20, maybe 30 in little installments. For every good deal that we've got with Lucas Torreira, how many big players, not even just big players, good players have we missed out on because of our half-heartedness, or because we haven't been able to pay certain prices, or because we simply won't, or because of another thing, which Arsenal have always done, we've always been able to identify targets. Talent, ID and Arsenal go hand to hand. We'll always find good talents. The problem is confirming the deals, getting them done. It's not like back in the days. Now, if I'm a United scout, Liverpool scout, Spurs scout, I'm looking at players just because Arsenal have a scout looking at them, and we're doing the same to other people. So you need to get things done. So it's not just Dan Kroenke. In the same way, I wouldn't just blame Unai Emery if things weren't happening right, or the other people. But we're kind of wishing on a star. Even if Michelin Tat finds all these players, even if Raul Sanllehi patterns off the contracts, even if Unai Emery gets these guys playing to the best of their ability, you still need Stan Kroenke's to set the tone. The shepherd needs to set the tone of the club. And the good thing about Wenger and Glazides going to a degree, regardless of what you think of them, is that there's no central person to scapegoat or hide behind. Essentially, it wasn't just all Wenger, it wasn't just all Glazides, it's not even just all Kroenke, but there are things that you can attribute to. So hopefully I've answered your question, my guy. Apologies, people, for going on for time. That was a good question, Marble Halls, man. Got awakened the Arsenal fan in me. I'm awake. I'm ready for this Q&A now. So let's crack on. Antonio Banks asks, DG, have you watched the documentary Take the Ball, Pass the Ball? No, I haven't, and I have no clue what that's about, my guy. But I'll watch it and then let you know what I think about it. Terry Nash asks, the Everton fan, Terry Nash, man. You make me laugh with some of your comments, man. You're a funny guy. You've asked, it's a bit of a strange question. No question strange, my guy. I don't suppose you play FIFA or Football Manager. Well, I ain't got PS4, but when I'm with the man, I'll play. I'm a bit hopeless at it, but yeah. Football Manager, yeah, man. I don't play as much as I did, but I love Football Manager. I mean, I get very frustrated when the players are not with me. Always think, obviously I'm going to be Arsenal in it, so like, whoever I got in my 2019 team. Also, the whole host of talents, but I've brought through a lot of academy players. Within my first team, I've got Saka, got Michi. Michi's gone out on loan. He's on the crust. Tyrese John Jules has been capped by England. Eddie Nketiah the same, but he's gone on loan to Wolves. Maitland-Niles, Iwobi's gone to Dortmund for 70 million. Maitland-Niles is within the side, as is Holding. I bought Joe Gomez from Liverpool, they let him go. I brought in Laboska. Barca sold Arthur for 15 million. I got to get involved in that. I've signed Ndombele. I've got Leon Bailey, so I've got a perfect blend of youth and good players. So I'm living my movie in that game, people. I don't need to watch Arsenal in real life, but yeah, man. Hopefully Terry answers your question, and big up yourself, man. He multi bnet. Forgive me if I mispronounced your name, my guy. But that's a one mad username. You used to ask me, Why do you think Arsenal failed to obtain elite young talent before they become mainstream? Like I said, similar to Marble Halls' question, is because we don't move quickly. We're happy to just look and we dither around. And in today's day and age, you can't do that because player power, agents and players know they're highly sought after. So you need to get things done. Sometimes I'm not saying you need. I actually think you need to have a structure, and from time to time you can break it for an elite player. But more often than not, you should have certain codes in it. But you do need to, at the same time, probably offer some lucrative packages or just simply get deals done. And we're half-hearted. Arsenal transfers take forever to get done. Look how long Torreira's one. All week we was watching the planes tracked and then things there. Aubameyang, how many pictures on social media did we see of Mislintat and the man there in Germany? Lacazette probably took forever as well. Do you know how many transfers drag out? Obviously you saw a lot of links with Chelsea and Pulisic, but come one of the first days in January, you see it announced. Arsenal, if this was Arsenal, you would see, Pulisic is in talks in Germany. You might catch him in casual wear, going to talk to Arsenal people. You might see us in the newspapers, and it'll be a dragged out process. So that's probably it, my guy. Raymond Walker's asked, Deluded, love your content. Any advice on how to grow my own channel? Personally, Raymond, I don't know. I get asked this question a lot. And I do think you lot flatter me a bit because I only have, big up all of yourselves, but only, we're touching 5,000, 4,900 subscribers. It's a lot, but it's not a lot. So I don't know. I really don't know what to tell you. I don't think there's any quick mad scheme to get traction or attention or people to follow you, because if there was, I would have done it by now. Just be yourself, essentially. I don't know how to grow my channel. My channel, just people buck to my channel and hit the subscribe button clearly because they like what they see. I mean, there's not really any fix. And then if there is any fix or any stream or any fix quick strategy, it's probably not necessarily ethical. So just keep doing your thing. I always see you constantly in the comments. They do say one way to get subscribers is constantly being other people's comments. So you're on the right track, my guy. Hamza's asked, controversial opinion, but loan out Guendouzi and bring in Cesc Fabregas as he's running down his contract. No, my guy, I'm not on that. Easy Ones asked, if you got signed up by Spurs and then you played against Arsenal, would you celebrate the winner? Of course. I love Arsenal, but if I'm a professional footballer, in the same way I said, I mean, I love my club, but I have ambitions to be a scout or a coach or one. If I was employed by Spurs in any capacity, Spurs, you can sign me. I'll gladly work for Spurs. I believe in their ethos. I would want Spurs to crush Arsenal. No, I was an Arsenal fan, but you have a professional job to do. And Spurs would be my organisation or the family I'm part of. So I want to see them do well and win. There'd be no... You'd have to almost wipe the fact that I used to be an Arsenal fan in the same way Ashley Young did. Ashley Young was an Arsenal fan growing up. You saw him celebrating, almost busting his lungs when he scored against Arsenal in the 8-2 victory for Man United against us. So it becomes irrelevant. All these fans, coaches, all these people, it becomes irrelevant. You have a professional job to do. So... allegiances would be dead, and yeah, if I was a player, I would celebrate. I would celebrate, to be honest. It's a derby. Like, I would love it for it to be in an Arsenal kit against the Scum, but yeah, my guy, without a doubt, I'd celebrate either side, man. You can't really care about that when you're on professional lines. Harry Kane's an Arsenal fan. He celebrates against Arsenal. Why can't I? Spurs fans, you know I had to do it. But cracking on, Igyal's asked, who at Arsenal would start in the top 6 sides / also Real Madrid and Barcelona? I'm just going to say Lucas Torreira and keep it pushing, my guy. That would be it. Emit's asked, Lozano or Pavon? I got a soft spot for Lozano, man. I really like him. You know when you just watch the player for time. Pavon's probably more exciting, but they're both... It's tough, man. They're both hard. I like them both, man. I'd prefer Lozano, but Pavon's a bad boy. And Pavon's probably more... Pavon's probably got more ability, to be fair with you, but I like Lozano. So it's probably Pavon, but I'd take Lozano. I'd be happy with either one, man. They're both sick. You've asked me, what do you think of Romagnoli of Milan? I think he's a very good player. Wasn't he at Rome, man? He's kind of, I wouldn't say stagnated a bit, but there was a couple seasons ago he was really moving hard. And I think him and Ronagli, they're two people he was looking at possibly to be the future of Milan and Juventus, not Milan and Juventus, but both of them, but also with the Italian national team, with all the good players coming through like Barella and all of these man there, and they still could be that. In fact, let me see how old Romagnoli is now, man. I'm sure he was at Roma. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I swear he moved to Milan for big money. Again, I could be wrong, people, but I'm sure. See, he's 23 now. Yeah, see, he's getting on. He's well, we're the same age. He's 23. I'm sure he was like 19 or something when he bust through. 19, 18 or something like that. Right, he's club captain. See, he's making his progress. He's doing his thing. He's made 105 appearances for Milan. But what? Yeah, I knew he came through at Roma, man. I like him a lot, man. I don't think he's the quickest, but I think he's a testament to Italian defending. And yeah, man, when you speak about good centre halves or people on the youngest sort of side, as he's never said, then it's testament to him because it feels like he's 27 or something. I'm sure he came through at 18 years of age, maybe 19 or even possibly 17. I'm sure he's been about for a while. If it weren't Rome, it was Roma, but I'm sure it might have been Sampdoria as well. He's been about. He's a player I've got a lot of time for. I'd love him at Arsenal, but we're broke, my guy. Like, Kieran's asked, what's your thoughts on Matteo Guendouzi choosing France over Morocco? Not really any to have, to be honest with you. It's down to him. I mean, clearly he's grown up in France. He's played at youth level for France, so he might feel 100% French. But in the same way, some black African / Caribbean folk might born in England and stuff like that, but of Caribbean descent, he's got a decision to make. So it's down to who he feels more connected to. Typically, you see a lot of people will align with France or align with England first, and then they'll go play for Morocco or Jamaica if they're not getting a look in. Marlon King. Yeah, so it's down to him. If he's going with his heart, if he, for whatever reason he's chose it, whether France are more competitive and he helps him better reach his ambitions of playing at a World Cup and things, not like Morocco didn't qualify for the last one, but it's down to him, my guy. And yeah, man, I mean, for France, they've got a great talent pool of not just him, but a lot of midfielders, a lot of defenders, from all the way up to under 16s down to mid 20s or 23, and that there's something in the water in France, or there's been an active push at developing these players. So yeah, man, I just hope he's made the best decision that he feels comfortable with, because you can no doubt that his inner city family home, or his family home, is very much Moroccan or very much proud of the Moroccan roots. So he's probably had to, his heart's been pulled in probably two directions, similar to probably Benzema with Algeria or several other players within the French national side. Even probably Koscielny and Poland, I'm not even too sure. Like, even you're now seeing with Declan Rice, Ireland and England. Does he play for the country he was born in and developed in, and he's obviously of English descent, or does he continue playing for Ireland? It's down to him, to be fair. I don't think we should pressure young players into doing these sort of things. Just let them do their thing. But you've also asked, do we need another target man of the Giroud sort of cut? You could say yes, because I think I was going to do a vid on this, but I do think Plan Bs are dying out in the sense of super subs or people directly on the bench. Now, nobody wants to do that, but there isn't many. You could say that. I wouldn't necessarily want the target man to start unless he's proper sick. If you're talking someone that's exactly like Giroud, then it's a Plan B thing, it's a super sub thing. Maybe in games where we need to start two up front or do something different, you could start. Ultimately, it provides a different option. Again, yeah, you could say target man, but I just think we need something different off the bench in addition to a winger, my guy. I had to make a space there. Pierre, basically, well, no, not Pierre. PA14's asked, do you think, well, Aubameyang basically, do you think one of Unai Emery's biggest challenges has been having two world-class strikers, as he has to keep chopping and changing formations, and so sometimes leaving out certain players while also relying on our wing-backs for width, who at certain times have disappointed, therefore not finding a fluid system quicker? A lot of what you said is true, my guy. Yeah, to be honest, he's still trying to work with the players. Cola's probably our best attacking outlet, but it shows that to the same degree, I don't think Unai Emery cares for wingers. He cares for this narrow stability thing, because you know Mkhitaryan, he can play out wide, and you know Mesut Ozil, he's been dropped out the side. But when he played both of them, you know they're gonna come narrow. You know Iwobi's gonna come narrow. So I'm not too sure on that one, my guy. Keep chopping and changing, because I don't think he knows his best side. He's still trying to learn them. And it is a difficult decision, or a good dilemma to have, essentially, for Unai Emery. Does he play Aubameyang? Does he play both? I've said this at the start of the season. 9 times out of 10, I want both to start. But more times, in real terms, there's games that are more suited. If we want to play a counter-attacking sort of football and hit them on the break, and we don't really care for how much we have on the ball, clearly Aubameyang is going to be the number one to go up there. If we need someone where we want to crowd the midfield and we want our best technical-based players, then Lacazette is going to drop into midfield or drop very deep and come and get the ball and do his good technical ability stuff. Obviously with Aubameyang, the example I just said, if it goes wrong, we're playing with 10 men, and obviously if Lacazette drops and there's no focal point for the centre halves to be occupied by, the opposition's fullbacks can come ahead. So what I'm getting at essentially is different games call for different measures. Some games, more often than not, I would start both, but there'll be some games where one should start or one should thingy as well, or one should be on the bench or vice versa. The one problem I think he has as well is that if he starts both, there's no one really to bring off the bench. There's obviously young Eddie and Nketiah, but past that, there's not really any certified options, my guy. You've also asked, do you think one of Unai Emery's biggest challenges... No, you've asked that already. Surely you've asked that. Talking about width. You've asked that already, my guy. You've also asked, to a certain degree, do you think that the bottom Premier League clubs have lowered the gap unlike others in the league? Due to the fact Manchester City got 100 points last season, Liverpool are projected to get well around the same, and Chelsea in 2016-2017 got 93 points, sorry. And also, these teams have all steamrolled the lower place clubs. Well, Chelsea didn't against... Who did Chelsea lose against? They lost against someone, and they didn't... Even though they beat Palace, I wouldn't say they steamrolled them. I don't really understand the question, because when you said bottom PL clubs, I don't get it, because I don't see Chelsea. You said Chelsea, Liverpool. I don't see them as bottom clubs. Are you saying the top six is getting there and the others are playing catch up? I'm not too sure. Or are you talking about the relegation places, my guy? No disrespect, but I'm not too sure, man. If you're talking about, I don't know. If you're talking about if the league's become more competitive or it's harder to win the league or you need more points, then of course so. Yeah, that's one reason I like the Premier League. The only season I can think of which wasn't this many points, I'm sure it was Leicester. Leicester was around 70 or something, and that was a crazy season for many reasons. So yeah, let me check that. Leicester title winning table. Let me check that. Just make sure that's all. Bring me the league table, man. Oh, see, I was wrong. See, Arsenal was on 71 points. Leicester was on 81. Spurs was on 70. They came third in the two-horse race. Got to do it, Spurs fans. So, yeah, man, I was wrong. It wasn't 70 points. It was 81 points. But, yeah, excluding that, you can see how it's becoming more competitive. And that's a good thing for the game, to be fair. It's good for us. Not good for Arsenal, because we're far away from this thing. But, yeah. Sorry I couldn't answer your question or couldn't interpret it, my guy. But if you could better explain that, I'd be happy to do that next week, man. But, yeah, people, for 2019, that's been a good kickoff in regards to the Q&A, man. And thank you very much, and I hope we all have a good year to remember. We have a year that we can look back and be proud of. Let's get it, man. On that note, please comment with new questions, subscribe, follow me on all my socials, and do the rest. Like the vid. I'm out.